now watching Wayback Wednesday, sponsored by Davenport Auto Park, the ride of your life. And also sponsored by Flores Glass, serving the area since 1977 with residential and commercial work.
Well, good evening and welcome to another episode of Wayback Wednesday. Glad you could join us tonight. Messy weather outside, so if you don't have to go anywhere, stay home, hang out with us tonight on the show. We'll show you some old photographs and some old businesses. A couple of days ago I was doing some just browsing through. Every now and again I like to open up my digital city directories. I've got probably half a dozen or so, maybe a dozen that I've downloaded off the web. And from time to time, I like to just open up and just browse through them. And it's just always interesting to me to stumble across businesses that used to be in Rocky Mount and are no longer. Businesses that at one point were thriving and very viable, but time left them behind. And so if there's a theme for tonight's show they once were but are no more. And so you'll see what I mean in a minute when we get some of these pictures. But most everything we're going to show you tonight comes out of three different Rocky Mount City directories from 1948, 1955, 1958. In 1963, I got four. And I just kind of went through and just kind of picked some ads out of businesses that some I remembered, most I did not. Some were before my time, obviously. But then I went back and said, okay, let's see what's at that location today. And so where I could do that, I went and found a picture of what's at that location of each one of these businesses today. And there was a handful I couldn't find anything, primarily because the ad itself didn't list an actual street address. And you'll see what I mean in a minute when we get to some of these pictures. For example, some just said Highway 301 North. And without a physical street address to go by, it's kind of difficult to go track down the exact location. But for those that had a physical street address, I was able to go back and, for the most part, find the spot. Now, quite often there was nothing there anymore. That's one of the sad realities about Rocky Mount's history, is that so much has been torn down and bulldozed over the years. So a lot of these places that were thriving businesses 40, 50 years ago are now just a vacant lot. So anyway, and I did stumble across one picture this week that I think I've seen before, but it's from a kind of a unique vantage point. And so, Lee, if you would put up item number one, this is actually a picture of the city lake from the 1960s. There's a couple things about it that kind of caught my. Number one, you're looking at from across the lake, looking over towards Sunset Avenue, and so it's kind of hard to tell from this picture here that it doesn't. Unfortunately, it's not very clear, but I believe on the left-hand side of your screen there that about a third of the way maybe over is Tootsie Council's Texaco station. And like I said, you can see the fountain right there in the middle of the city lake. And so this was, as I said, was taken from across the city lake looking towards Sunset Avenue. And Lee, zoom in if you could. I want to see if anyone else recognizes a home that I believe is on Bill Street. Because I don't recall there being any houses unless they were before my time, and that's certainly possible. But I don't believe there were any houses on this section of Sunset Avenue during the time this picture was made. But it looks to be a house, so I'm guessing either it's a house on Bill Street, which is one block over, or maybe there was a house there that was on Sunset Avenue in just proximity to the city lake. I just don't recall there ever being one there. Are we able to get a zoom on this, Lee? Okay, bear with us just a minute. We're trying to get a zoom here on this. And like I said, I don't know. I zoomed in on it on my computer in my office, and I was able to get a little more detail, but it was just a little confusing to me because I couldn't. There you go. On the right-hand side there, that house there, I think it's too far back to be on Sunset. Like I said, I think it's probably on Bill Street, one block over. Now, pan to the left if you would, Lee, and I think you can make out the actual Texaco sign for, keep going, keep going, keep going. A little more. Right there, I believe that little white blob over on the left-hand side in that area of trees, I believe that's Tootsie Council's Texaco station. The far left is actually the water treatment plant, which is across Sunset. Oh, we got a call. Let's go. Hello, caller, you on the air?
You should go across Sunset. Oh, we got a call. Randy, that's the battle home.
Oh, really?
That's the battle home on corner of Sunset and Bryan.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Okay. All right, so we got a confirmation that was a battle home, gentleman says. But yeah, I think that's Tootsie Council's Texaco right there in the middle of your screen there. I believe that's the point where Thomas Street and Sunset come together there at the City Lake. But anyway, like I say, you can zoom back out now, Lee. I just wanted to get the viewers get a chance to see that from a zoomed-in standpoint. But like I said, I've got a bunch of pictures of City Lake over the years, but this particular picture, I don't remember seeing it before. If I did, I'd forgotten it. But anyway, so I mentioned a moment ago that I was going through some city directories, and I kept stumbling across businesses that I didn't remember. Some were some very unique businesses, in fact, that in a long ago time frame they were very much needed, but over time they went away, so to speak. And so, we got a call. Let's hit this call. Hello, caller, you on the air?
Randy.
Hey, Randy, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing but the rent.
I hear you.
All right, behind the Tootsie Council service station, you have Zirkle Cleaners.
Right, okay.
Right beside that, you had a stucco-looking house, Mexican-type stucco house.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the boy that stayed there, his name was Danny Thompson.
Now, was that on Sunset?
That was on Sunset.
Okay. I didn't remember.
On the other side of that, you had a hardware store.
Okay.
And that was all on Sunset.
Okay. I seem to recall the hardware store, but I'd forgotten the house. For some reason, I don't remember the house being there. But like I said, it's probably before my time. You're a little older than I am, so you probably remember this better than I do.
Okay. I think the boy's name was Danny Thompson. His parents stayed there.
Okay. Good deal.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you here.
All right, good night.
Yeah, we'll see you. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead, Lee. Jump into item number 2, if we would. This is actually an ad for a business. Might have to zoom out a bit on that one, Lee. I don't know why it jumped up so big there. Another call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right. Where you're looking at over there, where you're behind Tootsie Council Service Station in the year of around 1960, H.H. Weeks Feed and Seed Store that used to be on Tarver Street next to Allen Mims Ford had a tenure of time when they were out there across Sunset Avenue from the lake.
I remember that. I used to go there with my grandfather and buy plants in the spring to plant in his garden. I sure remember that. I sure do.
Goodbye.
All right, buddy. Thank you now. Okay. Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is an ad for the Bobby Carr Motor Company. I never heard of Bobby Carr. I don't recall anything about this. It was obviously before my time. This was 1948, by the way. This ad appeared in the Rocky Mount City Directory in 1948. And you see the name of the company was Bobby Carr Motor Company, and they were distributors of, I guess, a brand of automobile. I'd never heard of a Bobby Carr. This was news to me. And the address there was 649 South Church Street. So I said, well, let's see what's at 649 Church Street now. So Lee, if you would, let's go ahead and put up item number 3. This was a screenshot of 649 South Church Street today. And as you can see, it's an empty lot. That Central Builders supply in the background there. Sutton's Used Cars would be to your left, a little bit north of this spot right here. And of course, Bassett Street to your right there, going across the railroad tracks going down toward Moore's Body Shop and so forth. But this vacant lot here is where that Bobby Carr Motor Company was in 1948. Now, if anybody knows anything about the Bobby Carr automobile, feel free to give us a call. 407-1111 is our number, of course, as always. But this was something I didn't know anything. Oh, we got a call. Let's see what we got here. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right. That building right straight off in front of you, off to the right just a little bit, looks like the office of old S.S. Toller Construction Company that faced Bassett Street. That building is still standing.
Oh yes, this is a recent picture right here. I did a screenshot of this today, in fact. So you're right, that building is still there. It sure is.
Right.
All right, buddy. Thank you now.
Goodbye.
All right. Okay. So anyway, like I said, the Bobby Carr Motor Company was located right here in 1948, and of course, it's no longer. I don't know when it went out of business. I'd never heard of it, never seen another ad for it, and it was kind of unique to me. So if anyone hears or knows anything about Bobby Carr, give us a call. All right, let's move on, Lee. Item number 4. This ad appeared also in the 1948 Rocky Mountain City Directory, and it's Payne's Manufacturing Company. And you can see there, they made doors, sash, and screens to order, and specialize in screens, cabinets, and store fixtures. And the address you see there is 107 Marigold Street. Mr. Harry A. Payne was the proprietor. And so I thought, okay, 107 Marigold Street, that's down there near the proximity of Main Street. It's in the first block anyway of Marigold Street. So I said, well, let's see what's there now. Item number 5, if you would, Lee. This is the location of 107, there you go, 107 Marigold Street. Now, there's two little, to the right of the picture there, there's 2 little adjacent businesses, if you would. And the one to the left would have been 107. The one to the right, I think, is 109. And if memory serves, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm sure, but I think there was a bowling alley in that building on the a little bit further east there on the right-hand side with the blue top on there. I think at one time, I remember hearing somebody said there was a bowling alley in there. But anyway, that's the intersection there of Marigold and South Washington Street, of course. And you're right there at Main Street. But this was where the Payne's Manufacturing Company was, manufacturing windows and doors and sashes and so forth. And yeah, you think about it, there was a time, we got a call, let's get this call. Hello, caller, you on the air?
All right, the tall building right in the middle of the screen is the corner there where T.C. Robbins had the Robbins
pool hall.
room.
Right, okay. Do you remember hearing about a bowling alley in that building at one time?
Seemed like there was. It would have been before my time.
Yeah, I've either read it or heard someone else mention a bowling alley there at one time. But you're right, it was Robbins Pool Hall too. Sure was. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, like I said, there was a lot of these businesses that were very much in demand. It seems odd now to think about there was a business to make windows and doors and sashes, and it not be a major manufacturing operation, but a little small place like that. And they were in business, 1948. Okay, let's move on then. Item number 6, the Right Way Mattress Renovation Company. I can't imagine now in this day and age that there would be any such thing as a mattress renovation company. But there you have it. In 1948, this ad appeared. They were located at 700 Raleigh Street. And you see the innerspring, mattress, and box springs were their specialty. So they would literally take a mattress, tear it apart, rebuild it, put it back together for you, and I guess make it better than it was before. And that's something I would have never thought ever existed. In my mind, I just can't envision that there would be a need for a business to rebuild mattresses. I always figured that's something you just throw away and go buy a new one. But apparently at one time in Rocky Mount, you could get your mattress rebuilt with new box springs and new inner springs. They were complete bedding renovators to redo your mattress if you so needed such a service performed for you. So I thought, okay, well, what's at 700 Raleigh Street today? So Lee, item number 7, if you would, the 700 Raleigh Street location today. You see there on the left-hand side. That's some kind of, I can't remember now what it is. I looked at it earlier and I remembered it briefly and I forgot it. But anyway, I don't think this is the original building where the Right Way Mattress Renovators was. I think this building is much newer. So that was the location of it, but I think that building's been torn down. And this building here, to me, seems to be much newer and too new, in fact, to be the location of the original Right Way Mattress Renovation Company. But that's where it was in 1948. Okay, let's move on. Item number 8. In 1948, there was a company called Rich's Boilers. And Rich's Boilers manufactured and sold and serviced boilers. I'm old enough, as many of you will remember, there was a time when boilers were very commonplace, particularly in businesses, but also in residential applications. A lot of people had boilers in the basement, and their home was heated with water, brought up the temperature by the boiler down the basement. And so, in fact, the home I live in now has a boiler. We haven't used it in many, many years. We switched over to a heat pump system now, but we still have the original boiler that was in our house. We bought it. The house was built in 1957, and the boiler is still there. The water pipes under the house, all of the radiators are still in every room. Everything is there, and it would probably function if we had to have it functioning. But it was a kerosene-fired boiler, and we tried it first year we moved in the house, and I couldn't stand the smell of kerosene off of the house, and we finally said, heck with this, we're going to go in a different direction. So we put in a heat pump, and that's what we heat and cool with now. But you see there, 107 South Washington Street was the location for Rich's boilers. And I guess Sunblaze was the brand of the boilers they sold, but they also worked on steam systems, hot water systems, and so they were a firm that was dedicated to installation, repair, service of boilers and heating systems and so forth. So again, I said, okay, well, in 1948, they were at 107 South Washington Street. So what's at 108 South Washington Street today? So Lee, if you would, let's go to item number 9. Item number 9 is, as you can see right now, Edgecombe Community College. And so, you know, it's amazing if you think about the block, the city block where Edgecombe Community College is now. And think for a minute about Hill Street, Tarboro Street, Washington Street, Atlantic Avenue, or Arlington Street. There was businesses all the way around that block. There were car lots. There were, of course, this boiler repair, service and sales company. And we'll show you in a minute a couple other businesses that were on the Hill Street side. But there was several businesses all the way around this block, this city block here that is currently occupied by Edgecombe Community College. So, but anyway, that's where the Rich's Boilers Company was located in 1948. Speaking of other businesses that were in that block, located in that block, item number 10, Lee, if you would. This was a business I do remember. In fact, I had the opportunity to go into it many times. Shaver Battery Company, Mr. Norris Shaver. Norris Shaver. Some of you remember Mr. Shaver. When I was in high school, I worked at Davis & Company Auto Parts, and we quite often would call each other. They'd call us, we'd call them, because they sold auto parts, but they also sold lawnmower parts, and particularly Briggs & Stratton small engine parts. And Davis & Company at that time did too. So if someone came into Davis & Company looking for a small engine part that we didn't have, we would call Shaver Battery and see if they had it. If they did, we'd send the customer to them. And likewise, if a customer came in Shaver Battery looking for a part that Mr. Shaver didn't have, he would send them to us. And on occasion, I would go pick up parts from Shaver and bring them back for our customers to come pick up from us. So I was in and out of there quite a few times during the mid to late 1970s. I got to know Mr. Shaver very well. It was a neat place. It kind of reminded me of one of these old-timey country stores where you walked in, you're just amazed by everything. Every cubby hole had something stuck in it. It was like an old country store. But anyway, this was on Hill Street, of course. The address is 210 Hill Street. And of course, that's on that same block where Edgecombe Community College is. Item number 11, Lee, is the view of where Shaver Battery Company would be if it were still there. There you go. And like I said, in the background there you see Edgecombe Community College. And this is probably a little further east in Shaver. I seem to recall Shaver was a little bit further west on the right-hand side there. But in this general area, was where Shaver Battery Company was. And of course, you can't see it from this vantage point, but across the street would be off to your left, off the image there, would be the old Camasco building, which was the Pepsi Cola building for a long time. It was the Rocky Mountain Popcorn Company for a long time. That kind of gives you an idea of where you are in the location here on Hill Street of where Shaver Battery was. Okay, Lee, let's move on then. Item number 12. In 1948, Warren's Radio Service was operating in Rocky Mount. And you see there they were located at 206 Hill Street. So literally a couple doors down from Shaver Battery Auto Parts. Ironically, I remember Shaver. Like I said, I went in and out of there several times. I remember Mr. Shaver. I do not remember Warren's radio service. I can't say that I ever went in there if it was still in business when I went over to Shaver Auto Parts. It could have been, I just didn't pay it any mind, but I don't remember this business here. But in 1948, Warren's radio service was located at 206 Hill Street, and like I said, it was in the same block as Shaver Battery, that same block that is now occupied by Edgecombe Community College. You know, speaking of radio service, this is one of those businesses that used to be very prevalent, like TV repair businesses. At one time, Rocky Mount had no less than half a dozen TV repair shops, and radio shops too, for that matter. And one by one, they all closed up, went out of business. It just became cheaper to throw them away and buy a new one than it did to repair them. And unfortunately, that's been the case with a lot of this kind of technology. And I see by the clock over here, it's time for our first commercial break. Lee, bring it back to me if you would. We're going to break, folks, and get a word in from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to take up with this same line of thought here. I've got some more advertisements to show you, and we'll show you some ads from the 1940s and 50s, and we'll look at some pictures from present-day location. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Wayback Wednesday.
Today, having the right healthcare plan tailored to your specific needs is vital to your peace of mind. The question is not if you will need the coverage, but when. And when that time comes, you want to be prepared. With the rising cost of medication, medical procedures, and doctor visits, you should know which is the right insurance plan for you. From life insurance, affordable health care, to Medicare, there are a lot of insurance options available, and choosing a plan can be overwhelming. Having Gus Tullis as your insurance professional on your side will give you peace of mind, because you will know you are covered with the insurance that meets your needs.
Hello, my name is Gus Tullis of Gus Tullis Insurance, and I've been helping people with their insurance needs for well over 20 years. Call me today. I'll answer any question you have. 252-937-6913. Looking forward to hearing from you.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service. We offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family. And we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
There's a main nerve that leaves your back that goes into your hip and goes down your leg. It's called the sciatic nerve. A back injury can put pressure on that nerve, causing pain, numbness, tingling. Chiropractors can actually help that. At the Hammer Chiropractic Center on Sunset, we know exactly what to do. We have very good relationships with the doctors in Rocky Mount. We like to co-manage people's care. Some medications may help us do our jobs, and our jobs may help their medications work better.
If you or your loved one is living with hearing loss, and if you haven't found a solution that fits your lifestyle, then you should consult with the local experts at the new Hearing Aid Urgent Care in Nashville, North Carolina. Hearing Aid Urgent Care is a place to go for over-the-counter hearing solutions that will improve your daily life and communication between your loved ones and you. Purchasing in our store does not require any prescription or medical recommendation. Our team of experts does recommend a hearing examination so we can help you purchase the correct product for your personal needs. We hold regular listen and learn events so you can ask questions and work with the high-quality products from our vendors to find out what hearing device will best suit you before you buy. Open Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you can call 252-459-4008 to find out more information. Hearing Aid Urgent Care located at 102 West Nashville Drive in Nashville, North Carolina.
And we're back. You know what? During the break, I was doing some browsing around on Facebook, and I just happened to notice that someone posted there was a tornado on the ground in Wilmington. So if you have family or friends in Wilmington, might want to call and check on them. We got a tornado just touched down there in Wilmington. Speaking of tornadoes, you know, this tropical storm now was a hurricane, of course, earlier. I think it's been downgraded into a tropical storm. It's predicted to kind of go a little bit east of us, and we're going to kind of get the outer edge of it. Hopefully no more than that. Some rain, of course, a little bit of wind probably. But the folks down east in the Wilmington area, particularly in Fayetteville and those parts of the state, are likely in for some really rough weather, a lot of rain. They're predicting 5 inches or more. Some fairly strong wind gusts is likely to blow some trees over and knock some power lines down and put power out for a lot of people. So let's keep those folks in your thoughts and prayers down there. The folks in Florida got a pretty rough hit from it, and so did folks in Georgia, to a lesser extent, I think, in South Carolina. But they're predicting that the very southeastern part of North Carolina can get a pretty good hit from this thing as it goes off to sea late tonight and early into morning. So I just happened to, like I say, spot that there was a tornado on the ground in Wilmington. So I'll pass that on. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I was browsing this week through city directories, and I like to do that from time to time just to kind of see what kind of ads are there, because every now and again you'll find an actual picture in an ad in a city directory. And so that's kind of what I was looking for pictures that I had not seen before that were part of the ads in the city directories. And I kept stumbling across these businesses that I'd never heard of before, that I didn't know anything about. And I said, well, you know what, it'd be interesting to see what's there now. And so I went and found these ads and then tried to find a current picture of the location where that business was located in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So, that being said, let's move on. Item number 14. In 1948 City Directory, there was a business ad listed for a company called Rocky Mount Cash Register Exchange. There you see the ad. I don't remember anything about this business. It was located at the intersection of Marigold and Washington Streets. It does not have a physical address here in the ad, but you see it says sales and service, electrical appliances, restaurant equipment, adding machines, refrigerators. It's almost comical to see an ad like this, and by the title of the company you would say, well, Rocky Mount Cash Register Exchange, they service and sell cash registers. And of course they did. But in addition to that, as you can see, they also sold restaurant equipment, refrigerators, electrical appliances. And you know, when I see an ad, I'm always kind of drawn back to the old Firestone store. And we've shown some ads here on previous shows where Firestone, in addition to selling tires and doing automotive repair, they would oftentimes sell stoves and refrigerators and household appliances. And so, but this was another business that I'd never heard anything about, did not remember ever being in existence, the Rocky Mount Cash Register Exchange. And again, you see the location was listed as being Marigold at Washington Street. So it was obviously on Marigold Street. It doesn't say which, whether it was on the left or the right, it doesn't say. So I said, well, let me just go look and see if I can find a picture of that area. And so, if you would, let's go ahead and pull up item number 15, which is a current image that I screenshotted today of the intersection. And of course, you can notice it's the same area we were looking at a few minutes ago, where Robbins Pool Hall is there directly in front of us. And so, my guess is probably, since it was on Marigold Street and listed as being Marigold at Washington Street, it was either on the corner across from Washington Street from Robbins Pool Hall there, or it could have been across the street on the opposite side, but somewhere in this vicinity here was where this business was located, the Rocky Mount Register Exchange Company in 1948. Okay, let's move on then, Lee. Item number 16. In 1955, I skipped over a little bit, went up to the 1955 City Directory, and I came across this ad. Oh, we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right. You were just talking about that place on the corner of Washington and Marigold.
Right.
In those years back, right straight across Marigold Street from the front door of the old Robbins' pool room is where Chuck Braswell's granddaddy had Rocky Mountain Radiator.
Right, I remember that. He sure did. And I'm guessing with that being there, maybe the opposite corner would have been where that Rocky Mountain Restaurant was. Like I said, it didn't ever give a street address, so I couldn't nail down exactly where it was.
I've never heard of that.
Yep, me neither. It was a new one for me. Sure was.
I know when I was a youngster, Rocky Mountain Radiator, the lady, it's Chuck Braswell's mother. She was June Gideon's, and her daddy was who started Rocky Mountain Radiator many years ago.
That's right.
It was right straight across the front door of Robbins' pool room.
Yeah, we've mentioned that on a couple of shows in the past, and they moved from there, of course, over around the corner on Washington Street down there, down from Building Supply Company over there for a number of years. And
this would have been before Chuck Braswell's mother married Linwood Braswell.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. But anyway, this is Carbisco Flour and Feed Mills. And you see it says manufacturers and distributors of gold strap feeds for all poultry and livestock. They were dealers for Surge dairy farm equipment, seeds, remedies, poultry and livestock equipment, sprayers, dusters, feed materials. They had an office and a mill. And you see the office located at 701 South Grace. The mill was at 605 South Grace. So I said, okay, well, let's see what's there now. So I went to Google and did a search for the address. And Lee, if you would, let's go on to item number 17 then. And as you see, another vacant lot. So if I remember correctly, I think this was the location of the actual mill itself. But as you see, the lot is now empty. There's nothing there. And I don't know how long that Carbisco Flour and Feed was there. And I don't know if there was something there after it went out of business. But again, it's from 1955. So we're talking about, well over 60 years. Okay, we got a call. Hello, caller, you on the air?
All right, that vacant lot you're looking at right there is where the place of Carbisco Feed Mills used to be, right there on that railroad track. They
Right.
were a big entity when feeds and that sort of stuff were still handled and distributed, sold and handled in burlap bags.
Okay.
It was a big enterprise. It was about a 3-story, 4-story structure. It was a mill.
Right.
The Ballantyne's family was who run it, and that's you're looking at what used to be there. But that place has been gone a long time.
Well, I can't say I remember it, so it was, unless it was torn down before I was old enough to remember being there. I have no recollection of it.
In the buildings that you're looking at right over there to the right was where their office was. They were also in the business of providing equipment for dairy farmers, milkers, and that sort of stuff in the 50s.
Right.
And that vacant green lot you're looking at was where that feed mill was.
Okay, that was the address that I was looking for the feed mill. So, like I said, I was kind of hoping there'd be a building there, but obviously it's no longer there. So,
On a long, long time.
yeah, obviously. Okay, buddy. Thank you here. All righty. So, all right, let's move on then, Lee. Item number 18. There's been a lot of building supply companies around Rocky Mountain over the years. This is one that I can't say I was familiar with, Carolina Building Supply Company. It seems vague for me, but I think, if I remember it, I can't say I've ever been in there. If it was still in existence when I was old enough to go in there, I should say. I don't recall ever going in this place. Carolina Building Supply Company, obviously they sold DuPont paints. They sold modern fold doors, kitchen cabinets, and you see there millwork, sash, doors, frames, flooring, siding, ceiling, framing, roofing, mortar, plaster. They were a full service building, home remodeling business located at 520 South Gray Street. And so I thought, okay, so what's at 520 South Gray Street now, or is there anything at 520 South Gray Street? So Lee, if we could, let's go to item number 19. And this is a screenshot of the location today where Carolina Building Supply Company used to be. And as you can see, it's a vacant lot as well. So, and these places were obviously before my time. I wasn't even born in 1955, so I don't know how long it was in existence. I don't know if it went out of business and something else occupied the space. But at some point, whatever was there went out of business and the building was demolished. And that happens, obviously. Buildings get old and it gets to a point where sometimes it's cheaper to demolish them than it is to try to fix them up. And I understand that, I do. Having said that, however, it's always sad to think about a business that was been in existence for several decades and then allowed to deteriorate to the point where it cannot be salvaged. We've shown some buildings and houses and properties around Rocky Mount several times on previous shows where unfortunately the owners either were not in a financial state to be able to perform the necessary repairs, or they moved away and the property was left just to fall into a state of disrepair to the point it couldn't be repaired. And so, it's sad when it happens, but it does happen. Okay, we got a call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
Good
Bob.
evening, Randy.
Hey, Bob. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Carolina Building Supply, I went to it as a youngster, probably about 1960, 62 era. And part of their facility is now, or recently was used by log cabin homes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was, they had a pretty big layout there of storage and warehousing, so they might have had more than one building.
Okay.
It was back closer to the China American Tobacco, and like I say, Log Homes I think still currently uses it for some purpose.
Okay.
But I remember going there for an item as a young teenager. I'd say about 60, 62.
Well, then it was certainly in existence during my lifetime, but like I said, I have no recollection of ever going there myself, so it's a shame. But anyway, I guess it's gone now. At least that.
It was like you said, full service. They had quality work.
Okay, good deal. All right, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, let's move on then. Item number 20. We've talked in the past about the businesses that cater to certain portion of the population. Oh, we got another call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right, that person that just called in, he was talking about the place down there where the log cabin home place is. That's not the area down there around 500 block of South Gray Street. Carolina Builder Supply was on South Gray Street down there near the railroad tracks that goes out of Rocky Mount towards Spring Hope. That business was near about across Gray Street from where the Cabisco feed mill place was. That business, Carolina Building Supply, was owned by Charlie Heck. He later got into building business with Marshall Spears, who was with the Bank of Rocky Mount. But that business and property, buildings, etc., has been gone a long time.
Was that the same Charlie Heck that had the car business too for a while?
His daddy.
That was his daddy, okay.
Daddy.
Okay, I got you. I knew I recognized the name. Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Okay. So here we have the Citizens Coal and Supply Company. Mr. W.R. Coleman was the manager. If this is the same W.R. Coleman, and I think it is, I'm not certain, but I believe it's the same Coleman that was a partner one time in Nash Brick. And so this was in 1955, of course. You see the address there was 1017 Cokie Road. But, both of my grandparents, particularly on my mother's side of the family, heated with coal. And so as a small child, I have some very vivid memories of taking a coal bucket from inside the house out to the coal bin and taking a small shovel and shoveling coal out of the coal bin into the coal bucket and then taking it back in the house, either by myself with less than a full bucket or going out with my grandfather and filling the bucket up and helping him bring it back in. We got a call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right, that Citizens Coal and Supply Company was over there on Cokie Road, right next to the railroad tracks that go out towards Tarble. It was before Waters Brothers Sheet Metal Contractors was there next to the railroad tracks. across Cokie Road from where the three large grain bins were at, over there at Planter's Oil Mill. And Mr. William R. Coleman was who owned that business.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Lee, go ahead and put up the next image. This is exactly what Eric is talking about. This is the location. There you go, Eric. This is located where you're talking about. This is where it used to be.
I recognize it immediately.
Yep, that's where it was.
And it was many years ago. It was a coal place, a coal yard. The railroad used to shove cars in there and dump coal out when coal was a big business for household heating.
Absolutely, it was. It sure was.
That's what it was long before. It was where Roger Waters had Waters Brothers Sheet Metal and metal fabrication business there, right next to the railroad tracks on Cokie Road.
Right. That's exactly right. That's where it was located.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Okay. I just realized it's time for our next commercial break. So, Lee, let's go ahead and take that next commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to look at a few more ads from way back then, and then look at the location of where those businesses were in a modern day scene. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Wayback Wednesday. Roll it away, Lee.
Today, having the right healthcare plan tailored to your specific needs is vital to your peace of mind. The question is not if you will need the coverage, but when. And when that time comes, you want to be prepared. With the rising cost of medication, medical procedures, and doctor visits, you should know which is the right insurance plan for you. From life insurance, affordable health care, to Medicare, there are a lot of insurance options available, and choosing a plan can be overwhelming. Having Gus Tullis as your insurance professional on your side will give you peace of mind, because you will know you are covered with the insurance that meets your needs.
Hello, my name is Gus Tullis of Gus Tullis Insurance, and I've been helping people with their insurance needs for well over 20 years. Call me today. I'll answer any question you have. 252-937-6913. Looking forward to hearing from you.
I'm Daniel Moss, owner of Cornerstone Funeral Home, and I'd like to invite you and your family to give our family an opportunity to serve you in your time of need. And we offer a full line of funeral services, everything from visitations to graveside services to cremations on site with a live crematory, as well as a banquet hall to meet the catering needs of our families that we serve. We offer catering service, we offer refreshments prior to visitations and services of our family, and we want to invite you to come and experience the difference here at Cornerstone Funeral Home.
There's a main nerve that leaves your back that goes into your hip and goes down your leg. It's called the sciatic nerve. A back injury can put pressure on that nerve, causing pain, numbness, tingling. Chiropractors can actually help that. At the Hammer Chiropractic Center on Sunset, we know exactly what to do. We have very good relationships with the doctors in Rocky Mount. We like to co-manage people's care. Some medications may help us do our jobs, and our jobs may help their medications work better.
If you or your loved one is living with hearing loss, and if you haven't found a solution that fits your lifestyle, then you should consult with the local experts at the new Hearing Aid Urgent Care in Nashville, North Carolina. Hearing Aid Urgent Care is a place to go for over-the-counter hearing solutions that will improve your daily life and communication between your loved ones and you. Purchasing in our store does not require any prescription or medical recommendation. Our team of experts does recommend a hearing examination so we can help you purchase the correct product for your personal needs. We hold regular listen and learn events so you can ask questions and work with the high-quality products from our vendors to find out what hearing device will best suit you before you buy. Open Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you can call 252-459-4008 to find out more information. Hearing Aid Urgent Care located at 102 West Nashville Drive in Nashville, North Carolina.
We were back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Wayback Wednesday. I'm Randy Adcock. So glad you could tune in tonight. at the top of the show, I mentioned that I had been browsing through some old Rocky Mount City directories. I have probably, I said a half a dozen earlier, I'm sure it's a dozen or more, in fact. They're online, by the way. There's several from the early 1900s, like 1908, 1909, up through like 1963, I think it is. Not every year. There's a few years that have skipped in that range there. But you can go online and you can download, you can view them, of course, online, but you can also download them and save them to your computer. And so over the years, I've acquired all of the ones that are available. And they're the original Hills, that was the brand, Hills, Rocky Mount City directory. My phone just went off a second, I don't know how that happened, but anyway, Hills Rocky Mount City directory. There's a lot of neat information there, a lot of good information about the city of Rocky Mount. In the front of each city directory, there's information about the demographics, the population, the schools, the hospitals, and then of course there's street address information, regarding where people worked. And there are ads. There's ads all through the city directory. So every now and again, I like to just browse through them and just see what kind of ads I can find. And that's what I did earlier this week. I just started going through and looking at some of the ads and kind of saving some of the ones that I thought were more interesting. So that's what we're doing tonight. It's going through old ads from old Rocky Mount City directories. Started out in 1948, pulled a few from that. Then went to 1955. I've still got a few more of those. Even got some from 1958 and 1963. I think is the latest I've got. So without further ado, let's jump right back into them. Item number 22. This is one I do remember, the Harris Conservatory of Music. In 1955, the Harris Conservatory of Music, as you see, was located at 269 Tarboro Street. That was not the only location, as I recall, but in 1955, when this ad appeared in the Rocky Mount City directory, they were located at 269 Tarboro Street. And you see they offer a complete line of junior preparatory department and 2-year college courses in piano, voice, organ, complete organ department. This was a really neat place. I went in there a time or two. They used to sell sheet music. It was one of the few places when I first started playing guitar back in the 1970s we could go into and buy guitar music, sheet music for guitars. And so when I was first learning how to play guitar, I would go in there and pick up sheet music and so forth. And that's a lot of how I learned to play guitar was practicing from sheet music I had acquired from Harris Conservatory of Music. But as I said, in 1955, they were located at 269 Tarboro Street. In later years, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was, I want to say Franklin Street actually is where I think they moved to. I don't know that I ever went into the location on Tarboro Street. My only recollection is, I believe it was on Franklin Street. But in any case, this was the ad that appeared in the 1955 Rocky Mount City directory. And so I said, okay, well, let's see what's there now at that same address, 269 Tarboro Street. So Lee, if you would, item number 23, and this is the address, this is the location of 269 Tarboro Street today. And of course, you see it's a vacant lot there now. Well, this actually is not a very recent picture because now they're building low-income housing there. This is there was a cleaners there for a while at this location. There was a car dealership there at this location. But in any case, this is where in 1955 this is where the Harris Conservatory of Music was located then. Okay, all right, let's move on, Lee. Item number 24. This is another business that I can't say I have any recollection of. Vans Boys and Young Men's Shop at 128 Tarboro Street. For some reason, I felt like I should know about this, but I have no recollection of it, none whatsoever. Maybe some of you shopped here. Maybe you went and bought school clothes here. Boys and Young Men's kind of leads me to believe that it catered to young boys and maybe teenagers, maybe high school kids. I don't think, at least from the ad, I don't think it was a men's clothing. We got a call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
All right. That place of business, Vans Boy Shop, it faced Tarboro Street. It was right next door to Joyner's Sporting Goods place. It was on the corner, right straight across the street, Washington Street, from the Man Gorham drugstore.
It was, and I've got a picture of it. Lee, if you would put up item number 25 for our viewers, and this is the location today. There you go. There's 5 Points. May Gorham's off to your right there, and this building right here directly in front of us is where Vans Men and Boys clothing store was located in 1955. You're exactly right.
I remember it very well.
I can't say I do. I don't know when it ceased to be in operation, and it's possible I went in there with my mother or father. Maybe I don't know. I just have no recollection of going in that place at any time in my life. There was a Christian place, church supply store, a couple doors to the left of this.
And that owned that business. He had a son named Ed Van, who is still around here in Rocky Mount. He was a couple of years older than me. He was probably in about the class of 1960. Rocky Mount Senior High. That building is still standing.
Yes, it is. It sure is. In fact, I think it's being renovated for some kind of apartments. I rode by there not too terribly long ago, and I think they're trying to put apartments in there, if I remember correctly. But in any case, you're right, it's still standing. All right, so we thank you.
Goodbye.
All righty. Okay. Moving on, item number 26, Lee. In 1955, the Walker Carter Coal Storage Company was located at 235 Southeast Main Street. Mr. Frank Walker and Mr. Don Carter were the proprietors. They offered dependable dry cleaning and certified cold storage, ample space for your furs, and valuable out-of-season garments. I just, for the life of me, I just couldn't envision this type of business being in business ever. And in fact, it was in business in 1955. This place was located, say, at 235 South Main Street. And I guess the idea behind the certified cold storage would have kept the moths from eating your furs. That's what I can think of. And again, to think that someone would take something as valuable as a fur and take it downtown and store it somewhere else. And then anytime you wanted to use it to go out for a fancy occasion, to go down there and check your garment out or check your fur out of their inventory and go use it, wear it, show it off, whatever, and take it back, put it back in cold storage. I don't know. I don't follow this logic at all. But apparently it was a thing. I guess people did that. In 1955, if you had a fur and you wanted to keep it in cold storage, Mr. Walker and Mr. Carter had a facility for you to do that. And currently, Lee, go ahead, let's put up item number 27. This is the location of where that business was. It's there to your right. It's, again, 235 Southeast Main Street. And you see it's not a very big place. Of course, these buildings tend to be kind of deep. So my guess is it must have had some kind of cooler back in the back maybe, and with racks where you could put your fur on a rack and put it back in the cooler there. And keep the bugs from eating it up. I don't know. It's all kind of new to me. I have no knowledge about any type of cold storage for clothes. But anyway, that's what it was. Moving on, Lee, item number 28. 1955 City Directory had this ad for the Rocky Mount Furniture Company. And it says, we feature nationally known brands, rugs, stoves, radios, and phonographs, television, electric refrigerators, electric ranges, home freezers, gas ranges, water heaters, oil stoves, and leading trade names in the fine furniture for the entire home. A complete home furnishing institution in the heart of the city. Rocky Mount Furniture Company was obviously upscale place, very nice building. And over the years, there's been at least a couple of different furniture companies in that building. And today, this building is still in use by Davis Furniture Company. Lee, if you would, let's put up item number 29. And the building has changed very little. If you look at this picture here, and this is, of course, a drawing in this ad, but you look at that, and then that's the picture today. Davis Furniture occupies that space. And the building is almost identical from the outside as it was in 1955. If I remember some time ago, did a little bit of research on this building. I think this building dates back much earlier. I'm not sure exactly when it was built, but I want to say it was sometime in the 1920s, maybe 1930s. But this is a very old building. It's approaching 100 years old. And Davis Furniture is in it now and has been there for some time. I'm not sure exactly how long they've owned the building, but they've been in there for quite a while now. And so this thrills me to see one of these very old buildings that's still standing, still functional, still conducting business daily. And by all accounts, I think they're doing pretty well there. We've got a call. Let's get this call. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
All right, I think that building right there, many years ago, if you go down there and get where the city lunch used to be, there's an alley back there on the back side of that building where there was a spur track where the railroad would shove boxcars down there, furniture to be unloaded into the back of that building.
You know, it's very possible. I've never been around the backside to investigate that, but that's certainly possible. But yeah.
You go down there and look at the break between that building and the building behind it that faces Washington Street, and there was an alley there, not an alley. It was a railroad spur track that went down through there. The railroad could send a boxcar down there behind that building.
Yeah, there's a piece of that track still down there by the old lunch bar.
You go look at it and you'll see the evidence of it.
Yep, I've been down there. You're exactly right. Yep, that's evidence still there. Sure is.
City lunch.
Yep, right behind the city lunch. That's right.
Goodbye.
All right, buddy. Thank you now. Okay, we're almost out of time. Let's go ahead and move on. See if we can get a couple more before we run out of time tonight. Let's move on to this next one that I hope somebody knows something about this because it rang all kind of bells with me, but I could not place it. Garrett, Wink, and Garrett. The South's largest mobile home dealer. And you see they sold Spartan and 29 other different makes, 8 and 10 foot wide up to 52 feet long. And the address is just listed as Highway 301 North. For some reason, I feel like I should know about this place, know where it was, know something about it, but I just drew a blank. The name rings all kind of bells, but I could not figure out where it was. But Garrett, Wink, and Garrett in 1955, I'm sorry, we're in 1958 now. 1958 City Directory, this ad appeared. And like I said, when I saw the name, Garrett, Wink, and Garrett Incorporated, something in the back of my mind said, I know that place. I remember something about it, remember hearing about it. I don't know that I've ever been there, but I could not find anything as far as a physical address other than Highway 301 North. And so consequently, I couldn't go look and see what's there today because I didn't have a physical address to go by. So if anyone knows anything about this or if anything comes to mind, feel free to give me a call. You can call here at 407-1111 or you can call my cell phone, 252-883-1123. I'd love to know something about Garrett, Wink, and Garrett's travel trailer business there. All right, Lee, let's go ahead and then. Number 31. In 1858, the Meadowbrook Dairy Company was located, as you see there on a P.O. box. All right, somebody knows. Hello, you're on the air. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, friend, how you doing?
Hey, Harold, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. As I remember, the mobile home place that you just referred to, or trailers, was in a day of popularity of the early day mobile homes.
Right.
And campers, and that's sort of what they specialized in, but I don't remember the exact location, but I think it was out on 301.
Definitely on 301 North is what the address on the bottom of the ad said, but I just couldn't remember where exactly it was at.
Going back to the previous number or two that you had, the Rocky Mountain Furniture was a very popular furniture store in the 60s. When Dottie and I first got married, we bought some of our furniture in those days from Rocky Mountain Furniture. And as you said, it later became, has now become Davis.
Right. Yeah, it's been some kind of furniture store there for many, many years.
What you're doing, friend.
Okay, buddy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hope you're squared away with your storm damage.
We're getting there little by little. It's a day-by-day process, but yes, sir, we're about to get back where we were. In fact, the good Lord willing will be better than we were before.
You've had a lot of prayers and a lot of help, I know.
We do. Appreciate it. Sure do.
Okay, buddy. Thank you a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. All right. I tell you what, we're almost out of time. So, Lee, bring it back to me. I'm going to stop it right there. what we'll do, I'll save these last half a dozen or so pictures. We'll bring those back next week. I want to thank those that called in and shared your memories with us. I always appreciate that. It makes my job easier, number one, but number two, I always learn something, and I really, I've said before, every week I do this show, I learn something, either from the research that I do or from you, the viewers, when you call in and share your memories, and that makes it all worthwhile for me. So thank you for that. That's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you next week with more Wayback Wednesday. Good night.